Okay, our second video is not about solving index equations. It's about solving equations that have the form log BAP in them. So solving log BAP equations, I just call them solving log equations. Okay, now notice that all the equations in the set before that we did were all in the form base to the power equals the answer, and all of these ones are in the form log BAP. Okay, I've changed pens too, so I think I've got a bit of a better pen. Okay, so what we're going to do with these is the method is that we change them from log form into index form. So we go base to the power equals the answer. They should come out fairly nicely. So let's have a go at this question. It's a bit small, isn't he? Okay, if we label him up, the 3 is the base, the x is the a, and the 2 is the p. And so we're going to end up with 3 squared equals x. Oh man, easy. X is 9. Let's do this one. The x is the base, the 16 is the a, and the 4 is the p. So we're going to end up with x to the 4 equals 16. Okay, well that's not too bad. If x to the 4 is 16, we've got a little bit more to do. I'm going to show you a good trick. Some people just say, oh, they can just see that they're going to do the 4th root. Okay, so we're going to do the 4th root of 16, which is 2. I'm going to show you another little trick which is quite useful. This is a much better pen. So sometimes this is quite a clever trick. What you can do is, if you think of it as 4 over 1, you can just flip the power, because 4 over 1 times 1/4 will leave you with x to the 1, and 16 to the quarter is obviously 2. Okay, let's have a little look at the next ones, 3 and 4. Can't remember whether I was trying to get you guys to do these. Oh no, I'm doing these 2 and then you're going to do 4 for yourself. Okay, so this time it's just written the wrong way round, isn't it? Confuses you. So the base is 4, there's the answer and there's the power. So we're going to go 4 to the x equals 2. Ah, this is clever. We've come into one of the ones we were just doing before. So how do we solve those? Log 4 to the x equals log 2. We're going to move that down in front. We're going to get x log 4 equals log 2, and therefore we're going to get x is log 2 divided by log 4. Right, let's pop that in our calculator. Log 2 divided by the log of 4, and that gives us a half. There are other ways of doing that one that are a bit quicker, but that's my method. Okay, so this one here, we've got base, answer, power. So 9 to the half equals x. That's right, 9 to the half equals x, and therefore 9 to the half is 3, or it could be minus 3. But actually, if we try to substitute that back in, that minus 3 wouldn't work. Try putting log 9 of minus 3 in your calculator. Your calculator will tell you a big fat error. So we actually just reject that answer, and just my answer is x equals 3. Right, I've done 4. All right, so all I've done is I've gone from log BAP into this form. All right, so from log BAP into this form. You try 4 on the next page. Okay, let's check your answers. Okay, I'll try and do this as fast as I can. Base, answer, power. X to the minus 1/3 equals 2. Okay, x to the minus 1/3 is 1 over x to the 3rd. So let's write that one out like that. I hate things on the bottom, so I'm going to times them up. So 1 equals 2, x to the 3rd. Then I'm going to go x to the 3rd equals a half. And then I'm going to do the cube root of a half. No, I'm not. That's rubbish. Let's start that one again. I'm not going to do the cube, I'm going to do the opposite power. So in fact what I'm going to do is I'm going to go 3 to the 1, 3 to the 1, and I'm going to be left with a half to the power of 3 is an 1/8. Okay, and this one here, base, answer, power. So I'm going to go 3 to the 3 is x. Oh man, easy. X is 27. Okay, base, answer, power. So I'm going to go x to the 3rd is 2. Well, I just done one like this. Looked very similar, didn't it? So now I'm going to do my little trick. So I'm going to go 3 over 1, 3 over 1, and therefore I'm going to get x to the 1 equals 8. Okay, base, answer, power, 5 to the x equals 25. Oh, I can just spot this one actually, I don't have to do any logs on it, it's just x equals 2. Done. Okay, of course, in the same way that the index equations got harder, the log equations get harder. So I've brought my little friend here along. Here he is. Look at him, there he is. He's a beaver. And what do beavers do? Beavers, Stella, gather logs. So the first thing that we're going to do is, if you get a nasty question like this pen is so much better. If we get a nasty question like this, we gather, let's actually gather the logs together. We gather the logs on one side. So I'm going to move this over, and when I move it over, it will become log 10 to the x. And if anything isn't a log, so do you notice the 2 isn't a log, I personally leave the 2 on one side. So I'm gathering the logs on one side and I'm leaving the numbers on the other. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to apply my log rules. So from the previous video, I know that when I add 2 logs together, as long as they have the same base, which they do, mine are both base 10, then I can, if I'm adding my logs together, that's the addition log rule, and therefore I end up timesing them. All right, should we just remind ourselves? Log A plus log B equals log AB. So I'm going to end up with log 10, it's going to go to a single log, and in the single log we're going to have x plus 21, and I'm going to times it. So I'm going to have x plus 21, and I'm timesing it by that x, and that all comes to 2. Okay, now this looks really strange, but it's just in the form log BAP, because that's the base, this whole thing is the answer, and this is the power. And how do I change my questions? How do I solve my questions if they're in the form log BAP? I change them to index form. So changing log BAP into index form becomes 10 is the base, the power is 2, and the answer is x plus 21x. And now this is actually just really simple. If we times it out, it's going to give us x squared plus 21x equals 100. And then we're going to get x squared plus 21x minus 100 equals 0. And therefore we're just going to a quadratic. Okay, let's have a think about how this solves. It's going to be a 25, isn't it, and a 4. So it's going to be a 25. It's definitely going to be a 4. It's going to be a plus 25 and a minus 4. And therefore x is minus 25, or x is 4. And of course, if we look back up at the question, we can't have log of base 10 to the minus 25. So we reject this answer, and then our answer is just x equals 4. Okay, I've moved him up a little bit because I was running out of space. So here comes my next one. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to gather the logs on one side. So when I gather the logs, so I'm going to move him over to one side like a good little beaver. I don't know why I keep doing that. That's a minus now. Let's get my pen back. It's a minus log to the 4 of 3x equals 1. Okay, so I've gathered my logs to one side, and then I've noticed that I'm subtracting 2 logs, so I'm going to use my subtraction log rule. So the one that says log A minus log B equals the log, a single log of A divided by B. Okay, so off we go. So we're going to get log 4, it's going to a single log with x squared over 3x equals 1. It's now in the form log BAP, there's the base, this whole thing's the answer, and this is the power. So we're going to go 4 to the 1 equals x squared over 3x. Okay, so that's got it into the form base to the power equals the answer. And then it's just a little bit of algebra now. So x squared over x gives me x over 3, and if I times up, I reckon x equals 12. Okay, if you want to try this one, have a little try, and then I'll go through the answer. It's got another little bit in it that you might be able to work out for yourself. Okay, here's the answer. Now, the logs are on one side, so the beaver's done his job, but there's a bit of a choice of operation. So with this is a times, and I just want you to think back to when you were little and you learnt about Bob Mass. So we've got to do a times, and do you notice we've also got to do a subtraction? So the laws of rods, the laws of logs, follow exactly the same laws as BODMAS. So I think most people had that as other, didn't they, which was kind of like powers. So if you have a choice between a power, boom, and a subtraction or an addition, you do the power first. Okay, so we always do the power first. So we're going to end up with log to the 3x, and this 2, the power rule, using my little power rule, he's going to come in front. And then I'm going to write everything else out again. Okay, bang, bang. And now I've done my power rule, now I can do my subtraction rule. So my subtraction rule says it's going to a single log x squared over x plus 4. So a single log, because they're dividing, equals 2. Okay, now it's the same as before. Base, answer, power. It's in the form log BAP. So we're going to get the base, which is 3, the power, which is 2, over x squared over x plus 4. Chunk. Right. 3 squared is 9. I hate things on the bottom, so I'm going to move him up. 9x plus 4 equals x squared. We're going to multiply them out. 9x plus 36 equals x squared. And in it looking a bit quadratic-y, x squared minus 9x minus 36 equals 0. X equals, I think it's a 3, is it? And a 12. Which way around? Minus, plus. So either x is minus 3 or x is 12. And I think if we look up again, there's no way we can get log to the base 3 of minus 3. So therefore we would reject this answer, and x is 12 is my answer. Okay, these ones are really clever. They're clever because do you notice that the base is different? So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to use your little friend, one of your log rules, this one here, the one that we did when we had to change the base. So let's pop him here. Now, what I'm probably interested in doing is getting them both into base 4. So I'm going to take this part of it, the log of base x of 4, and I want to change them into both of them. So let's rub that out so we can see them a bit better. I want to get both of them into base 4. So we're going to start off by writing log with a divide. Then we're going to decide that we want them both to be base 4. So we're going to put our base 4s in, and we're going to use Martha's granddad's rule, which is x is on the bottom, so he's on the bottom, and this one's on the top, so he's on the top. So we're going to end up with 1 over log to the base 4 of x. So let's pop that back in. We've got log to the base 4 of x minus 8 lots of 1 over log to the base 4 of x minus 2 equals 0. Now this looks absolutely revolting. So here's a good trick. How about let y equal log to the base 4 of x. Could be any old letter. And therefore we're ending up with y minus 8, 1 over y minus 2 equals 0. I hate things on the bottom, so I'm going to times up. Y squared minus 8 minus 2y equals 0. And this again is looking a bit quadratic-y. So here he goes. Okay, y, Delilah. It's something to do with a 4 and a 2, isn't it? A 4 and a 2. Now, one of them's got a sign. That one. So therefore, y is minus 2 or y is 4. But we're not solving it for y's. No, we're solving it for x's. So y was, what was my y up here? Here he is. Log to the base 4 of x. So log to the base 4 of x equals minus 2, or log to the base 4 of x equals 4. Okay, so now we're log bapping. Base, answer, power. 4 to the minus 2 equals x, which must mean that x is 1 over 4 squared, so x is a 16th, bingo, or base, answer, power, so 4 to the 4 equals x, so x is 256. Done. Okay, now there's one for you to try here. It's just hidden here, so what I'll do is you've got him in your pack, have a little go at him, and then I'll do the answer on the next page. Here comes the answer. Right, we're in different bases, so I think I'm going to change log to the base 9 of x. I think I'm going to change it into base 3. Okay, so log. Right, so they're both going to go into base 3. And then I'm going to use Martha's granddad. So 9 is going here. That's on the bottom, and the x is going here. Oh, log to the base 3 of 9. What's that? So log to the base 3 of 9 is what? Don't need a calculator, but we could bung it in. So 3 to the question mark is 9, so the question mark is 2. Okay, so this is actually log to the base 3 of x over 2. Right, let's see what we've got then when we start from the beginning. So log to the base 9 of x is log to the 3 of x over 2. This is still just plus log to the base 3 of x equals 3. Okay, this isn't too bad. I hate things on the bottom, so I'm going to double everything. So log to the base 3 of x plus 2 log to the base 3 of x equals 6. I've got 2 of them, add 1 of them, so 3 log 3 to the x is 6. Now I'm going to divide by 3, so I'm going to get log 3 to the x equals 2, and now I'm back in my log BAP. Base, answer, power. 3 to the power of 2 equals x. Oh, bingo. X is 9.